Hello, everybody. This is Nikki, also known as Faces Trader. It's March 4, 2021. It's a Thursday, and you're watching me, Nikki, also known as Faces Trader, for the Awesome10X Global Market Update. So we wake up today. We saw that the nightmare on Wall Street last Friday truly indeed happened this Thursday. And so the market really just had a lower high and then proceeded to make new lows. And we are seeing that the market can actually fall back to about 12,000 in the Nasdaq. Let's take a look at your Nasdaqs first. So we were opining actually that the market has been toppish. And so we actually recommended some people to concentrate a little bit on where their unique core holdings are while getting rid of the stocks that they're not truly holding for a long term. Although we like to say that we want to diversify, when the market really corrects, you really want to ask yourself, do I want to just sell some of my biotechs on a 30% spike, or do I really want to hold on to it? And so a lot of us here in Awesome10X, we were actually selling some of the spikes in the market, even when we felt that it was a winner, because we wanted to preserve some cash in case the markets truly drop in what we think will happen. So let's take a look at the Nasdaq here. Let me show you the Nasdaqs. So the Nasdaq 100 actually topped at about 14,000. So here, let's go to the chart of the Nasdaq. Some people are actually making money shorting your Nasdaq. Now, why would they short the Nasdaq? Pretty simple. They would short the Nasdaq because they feel that it is extended. The only reason why they will short is, of course, they believe that I can lose my money, but I can also win. If they think that the upside is very small, but the downside is larger, then they're betting on the downside. And so you're seeing that when the market, as in the Nasdaq, reached this 14,000 level, a lot of people actually sold down, even as early as about February 15. So actually, February 15, we told you that the market was already spiking. We said that because we were watching the USD THP. Around February 15, 16, the market was already cautioning us through the dollar peso, through the DXY, that the market was gonna fall. And so we in Awesome10X said that it's important to sell some shares from the market. Take note that some people actually felt that 12.5 was actually expensive if it even extended to as high as 13.8. So that was the actual top. And from 13.8 all the way to about 12.4, that is just a 10% drop, right? 14,000 to 12.5, that's just 1.4, right? That 10% drop is already sending shivers to people when we haven't even gone down to 11,000. What more if we even fell to 10,000? If we actually fell 18%, which is also possible, given that where did we come from? Take note that the Nasdaq came from as low as this. Let's put it into perspective, okay? Your Nasdaq has risen from 6,000 area here, or about 6,200, 6,600, to as high as about 14,000. And since September, remember September 2020, we had this massive correction from 12.5 all the way to this 11,000, rallied to 12.5, went down to 11,000, rallied to 12.5, then broke above to about 14,000, only to retest again this 12.4 area. So actually, if we ever retest the September lows, that would be taking us to 11,000. So the first scenario is that we will bounce here at about 12.4 level. That is the first scenario. So last night, 12.599. If we ever get an intraday drop tonight on Nasdaq, we will see if it's gonna pierce this 12.4 to go down all the way to 11.3, or will we actually bounce here, rally a little bit here, and actually get this choppy movement. So we can actually do choppy movement like this, okay? That could also happen. This is one scenario. And then, of course, the other scenario is, let me get another blue pen here so that you can see many scenarios. That's blue. That's one. And then let's do some more drawings. Can I draw? Okay. I'm going to draw, let's say, another pink line. Let's say we can fall from here, pierce it all the way down. That's possible. Before we actually bounce, we can actually fall again, 11,000, then bounce, and then drop, a lot of retests before we actually climb up higher and so forth. So we have actually two scenarios, guys. We have a scenario because we've already gone V-shape on your Nasdaqs. What do you call about this movement, guys? It's a V-shaped rally. From about 10,000, we fell down to about 6,000. We made a V-shaped recovery and we extended it all the way, right? We extended all the way. So if we're gonna really just reset the valuations back to the June areas, we're gonna have a steep fall, not even 11,000. Some people are gonna predict, of course, these are the doomsayers. The doomsayers will predict something like, let's go down back to about 10,000 maybe. So let's see, let's try to draw again. I'll show you like what a doomsday prediction would be. The doomsday would want to really have a drop here, a breakdown here, a retest on a lower high, a drop again, a retest on a lower high, a drop again, retest a lower high, drop again, retest lower high, and then that's the only time that you can actually consolidate before we go all-time highs, okay? So you've got the shallow, the middle shallow, and then the deep. Those are three scenarios that could happen. And because if you ask me, are the markets complacent right now? And the truth is, the markets are overheated and the markets are complacent. The markets are complacent because it's as if, you know, they just know how to buy. They're not really willing to sell. It's all about just buying opportunities and nothing about the downsides. I discussed in the Awesome10X Inner Circle that are the markets overheated? I answered this, that the answer is yes. Wall Street bullishness is becoming a contrarian sell signal. I even said, minsan, kailangan mo sabihin sa client mo, the stock has gone way above, extended way above my own most bullish predictions. So, does it mean that all the stocks should fall? So no, the answer is not. Just because the Nasdaq can have three types of scenarios, you just need to prepare on all these scenarios. Actually, guys, BTC USD, let's take a look at some indicators for you. These are my indicators. You'll notice that I felt that BTC at 60,000 might correct all the way to about 40,000. So some people sold at 57, 54, probably sold at 50,000. It fell down last week to as low as about 44,000, got bought up quickly, then sold again at 52,000. And right now we're teetering in the 50K mark. At 50K mark, these things could happen to your BTC. It can consolidate here. That's one. And then bounce. That's one, right? It can also, let's make a new, that's one. That's the green, that's the bullish prediction. And then let's go for a more milder drawing. From about 50 cents, 50,000, we could actually drop here back to that 43K, rise to a lower high, break down, break the downtrend, rise to a lower high, retest that 45K, and then we can do this chop mode before we go all-time highs. That's possible. Now, another scenario, one more. Sorry, let's do this as a blue line. Let's draw another one. The markets would fall. Let's say you are crashed. You like the Armageddon type. Okay, if you're the Armageddon type of person, this is how you would draw your charts. From 50,000, you're going to predict that this falls to as low as about here, goes down, no lower highs, just panic sells, stop out, kill all the margin calls, drop again, kill again all the margin calls, lower high, go down further, consolidate here at about 30,000 before we go all-time highs. So at the end of the day, in the short term, you could panic here. You could, let's get some emojis right here. Let me find an emoji. Emoji panic. I'll find an emoji panic. Okay, let's do this emoji. A lot of people would do something like this. Let's put it here. Can I draw here an emoji? I can't put an emoji. Seems like I can't put an emoji. Copy image. Okay, I can't put an emoji here. But the point is that in the long term, guys, I do think that all of these would go up. Long term, it can go 75,000, 80,000. In the short term, you've got scenario 1, scenario 2, scenario 3, right? You could have shallow, you could have mild, and you could have deep. It's like hot, spicy. It's like, what do you want? Cold, hot, hotter. Hot, hot, hotter, hottest. It's okay. So the point of the market is that the market is extended, and the bulls will always say, well, stocks always go up. Stocks will always go up in the long term. But in the short term, of course, they can fall down first, fall down before getting bought up. So what should you do? Number 1, you should ask yourself, am I appropriately predicting, or not really, it's not even about predicting. Am I appropriately able to handle scenario 1, scenario 2, scenario 3? Now, if you're telling me that the scenario 1, wherein Nasdaq falls to about 12,000, is going to make you shiver and run, why do you have to panic sell tomorrow when you can just panic sell early at about $13,000 Nasdaq if that's what you're going to do anyway? Example, let's take a look. We have been discussing that all the solars have gone 10x, and therefore they were the most primary candidate to fall. Remember when we gave these arrows? Since December, since January, we have been selling CleanSpark. We have been saying CleanSpark is expensive here, even if we believe in the microgrids controller. And can it fall down to 9? Okay, let's give you scenarios. Look, I put a lot of arrows there. I even thought that, okay, up, I'll sell. It never went up there, so it's only here, right? Sell here, sell here, sell here, sell here. So you've been selling 30 to 40. Pretty sure your cost is just 950. So you're thinking to yourself, right now at 28, I'm still up. Yes, you are still up. I know that. But will you unload it, or will you wait for it to crater to $20 before you scream the hell out of your way? So what I do know with the market is that you always have to know if you're a pig that will get slaughtered, or are you just a mild pig? And I told people that if you don't have enough cash, you should think twice, where's the upside if I held on to these shares, and where's the downside if I don't sell these shares today, tomorrow, next week? So think about it like that. Let's talk about some winners that we love. App Harvest. App Harvest was bought by Awesome10X here at about $10, $11 November. Even last night, it's trading at 28. Let's say you were a pig because you believe in indoor farming. I also believe in it long term. However, in the short term, App Harvest here has a resistance at $40.39. Last week, it's 35. This week, it's 28. So 38 to 28, $10 drop. If your cost was $10,000, you saw your position go from $38,000 to $28,000. Now let's take a look at some more names that people are very greedy about. How about digital advertising? To be honest, as early as about $700, I kind of felt that it should have fallen 20%. That was still October, November. I predicted that, but the market fell and went all-time highs. From 500, it rallied as high as 960. That was November, December euphoric zone. And as usual, if you're doing a momentum parabolic move, you're gonna have a parabolic drop. In my view, the trade desk has a resistance, 960 drop, 840 drop, 800 all the way to 700 drop. Now you could argue, no, Jeff Green is the best CEO of the world. Okay, I can understand that. And I know that digital advertising is a secular trend as well. However, what I believe is that in the last maybe 6 years, wherein this, about 2016 till 2021, so that would be 5 years, since before, the trade desk always suffers a correction. a correction, like here there was a 25% drop, a 30% drop, a 30% drop, a 40% drop, a 60% drop during the April 2020, and in 2021, we haven't seen a material drop. So if I'm gonna estimate if we were able to drop 58% here, why don't we predict a 58% drop from the peak? So from $1,000, a 50% drop would be somewhere here, at least 500 or around 480. So I would assume that there will be a lot of buyers here at about $500 to 480. So I don't really assume that you will break the trend. The secular trend will still be your friend. The Trade Desk is the best company when it comes to digital advertising, I agree. But wouldn't it be better to buy it at about $500 rather than picking it up at $700, right? Okay, let's discuss a few more. Nikki, what about the SPACs? The SPAC seems to be getting demolished right now. I really love some SPACs, but it's also getting demolished. What should I do with my SPACs? Let's take a look at some SPACs. Let's talk about the old SPACs. The older SPACs like Laser, Luminar. You'll notice that all the SPACs that have gone 300% from their lows are, of course, getting sold down. We saw this distribution at 39 to 32, and you heard me say that if there's going to be a 50% downside, it's going to come from the companies that went 300 to 400% without that revenue base yet. Meaning, although I like Austin Russell of Luminar, I'd say that Luminar would not be able to sustain these 27 levels, 28, 33, 39, and so it's a sell, sell, sell. Can I buy it back at 15? Actually, the reason why there's a line there is because I'm already predicting for myself to get it back at 15. Sold it, yes. I sold some laser. Nikki, tell me something about esports. Let's talk about esports. Yep. I made a mistake on Douyu because I like it here during the merger with Huya. And around June 2021, yes, they're still going to merge with Huya. However, you could see that what I did was, all right, when I bought it here, there was a support here at 12.11. You'll notice that not all stocks would behave like the index. Some stocks will behave with the index. Their beta with the index is 1:1 or 1:2. But there's also what you call the negatively correlated with index. That's why diversification works, because when the index was just consolidating, some stocks were actually able to make all-time highs. With Douyu, actually, around December, January, I felt that here at 11 to 12, there were already some people buying. So what I did with my portfolio is that I had some 15. Look, I also have some $8 here. So I bought 8, 15, 11, and then I sold this at about 19. I sold so I saw the top at 20, sold at 19, sold at 17, and even at 15 seems to be still a sell. So where will it fall? In my view, it could fall maybe at $12 arrangement, but it's also possible that it doesn't fall. Why will it not fall? Because Huya and Douyu have agreed to merge. And it's actually beneficial that all the Douyu shareholders will get a cash dividend, and they will get their Douyu will change into Huya. So they will have a change in name. It's going to be a bigger company. There is a merger. So what has been happening in the market? Every time there is a good news, people are selling the spikes. Example, TRXC, just yesterday I told you that we like TRXC, the surgical robot, because from 7, it already fell to about 350. Last night, the market collapsed, but this one went up, 550, able for us to sell. Meaning, assuming last week, you noticed already that the market was going to collapse, here about 550, you failed to sell there, well, you got your chance again to sell again. This is what you call a lower high, a lower high. So the people who got to sell at 680 are the best sellers, but the people who got in at about 360, able to sell at 550, are also good sellers as well. Will TRXC go down to 350? Chances are, if the market's going to correct deeper, then you'll be able to get at 350, even as low as $3. Who are the sellers? Usually, the sellers are also the people who got it very low. So don't think that just because these people are low cost doesn't mean that they'll sell. A while ago, you heard me talk about our app harvest. Our cost is very low, 10 to 11. Why would we sell at 28? Only because we felt that at 38, that was perhaps the peak. Let's talk about some names. Raven Robotics. Don't you think that 42 to 41 should be sold? Some people will trim that. Yes, they believe in precision ag tech, but I'd say that some people would consider these areas, even if it's very strong, to be one of the best ways to trim first, put the money into cash, and then go down to 33, pick it back again, if they really like precision ag tech. Now, Raven Industries is one of the beneficiaries of precision ag tech. So is John Deere and Co. What's happening right now is that even the strong fundamentals are actually already starting to fall. So you've got this 357, 343, John Deere is likely to fall. I discussed to you guys that I like Airbnb, but it was very expensive. Was I right? Correct call. It's falling down. It's right now 180. If the market actually collapses, this can go down to 164. So I think that the people who sold their shares are just waiting all the way down and see where it takes them. Example, let's take a look at Lemonade. Lemonade had a bad earnings. You see this double top here at 180. That's why nothing caught on my end. Usually, I'd have bought at 109 because that was my prior higher. That was where my arrows were. But if the market is going to correct downwards, Lemonade would fall 97 or 88 or even as low as $70. Right now, I haven't bought it back because maybe I prefer other names. Lemonade isn't so my priority. But from an insurance perspective, yes. Is Lemonade the disruptor? The answer is yes. You're seeing right now that people right now would buy all their biased, their high convictions. And for most people, their high convictions are the electric vehicle sector, primarily led by your Tesla. You'll notice that this is an entire extension from November all the way to February, 500 to 900. So if the market's going to correct, if 650 Tesla does not get bought up here at about $600, you could see that there is a higher low here at about $600. If that one does not get supported, because this one is just what, consider a line, right? From 890, it fell to about 650, had a lower high to about 738, only to fall again at about 650. If this falls and breaks 600 without any bounce, you'd see that these are people who'd see it at 500, bounce to 600, and then bounce again, going down. So I would use Tesla as an indicator. And of course, with Tesla falling down, does that mean that all the Chinese vehicles would fall? In a way, yes. NIO, I'm caught actually because I like NIO and I have a high cost at about $47. So right now I'm suffering something like 15% downside because it's $41, right? Can it fall down? Can we estimate how low this can fall? So I already calculated a 50% drop, 66 all the way to perhaps 34 or 33. That is where your first support line will be, which is similar to these November levels. Assuming, guys, that this is the extension of the Tesla move, the Chinese Tesla, which is NIO, if this is the extension, is it really likely, guys, for us to buy NIO here at about 24 to 12? Because if we're going to reset back to about July, it's as if telling me that Tesla will reset to about $200 because this is the July area, right? This is the 300 area. So if you're going to assume that the market is going to correct downward without any rallies, then you're going to really assume that Tesla is going to fall. If Tesla is going to be $300, it's as if you're assuming already right now that BTC USD would actually not sustain itself here and will actually already go down to 30,000 or 28,000. So your bets are really about whether these things are going to be shallow or deep. It's really a question mark at the end of the day. So some people don't want uncertainty and they're trimming their exposures and going into cash even if they don't know what's ahead of tomorrow. They don't know what's ahead of tomorrow. What are the things that they're unloading? An example would be a company that doesn't move. It is a non-beta name. When you have a name that doesn't move with the index, if the index falls, if the index rises, it's not moving. So when it's not moving and you could see that, hey, there will be a potential drop, it is a potential, not a reality. If there is a potential drop that maybe the market can fall, if Nokia is not rising anyway, should I just unload it at $3.98 or $4 so that I could just put it into cash and see whether the market will give me opportunities, whether it be on Tesla, whether it be on BTC, USD, right? Because the deeper BTC goes, your GBTC would also fall to 37 or 32. That's really what's going to happen here. This is the ETF of your BTCs. So if BTC is going to fall, does that mean that your blockchain-related names would fall? And you could see that my answer here is a lower high. This is a lower high, your Mara. Even if it rallied from $2 all the way to $40, of course, there will be some sellers here. So your blockchain has barely really felt any heat. It's not even falling yet. So what if it fell? A 46% drop or a 70% drop? What do you think? If it's a 70% drop, it's about $17. So here at 36 means that it has 50% downside leeway, or if it's not that low, then at least here to about $25. Right now, the market doesn't tell us if it's going to be deep or shallow, but we all know that it is a lower high. All we know right now it is a lower high. Let's talk about a few names. TXMB rose, then fell. So let's assume you tried to buy here at 185. 185 went to 270, dropped back to 185, even fell to 146. Last night, actually, TXMD managed to have an intraday high of about 195 pre-markets. There was news on TXMD. I'll tell you a few things about some non-index names. Non-index names will not move like your index names. That's precisely why they're non-index names. They are not the same beta. For those who don't understand what beta is, let's read to you what the definition of beta means. Beta is the asset correlation. Is the correlation to the market. If Tesla is a huge component of your Nasdaq and your S&P, a drop of Tesla will affect Nasdaq. The people shorting Nasdaq would assume that Tesla would fall, Apple would fall, Amazon will fall, Microsoft will fall, and so forth. Now, if you are trading non-index names, the beta score is rather very low or very negative, meaning it is not related to index names. It doesn't mean that if the index drop, the TXMD will drop. Now, chances are it will just move like all the rest of the biotech names in their own world. It's like an autistic company. Example, March till March, 1 year, what did TXMD do? 80 cents to 240, go down to about $1.20, go up to about $2.40, go down to 120, go up to 240. What is it, guys? It's just a simple rectangle. You buy low, you sell high. Perhaps 180 is the middle line. And so some people are wondering, hey, 146, can I say that I buy at 146, can I sell it at about 180 even if I don't get to sell at 240? My answer is that your downside is not 50%. Your downside is here at about 120, right? Just 120. And your upside could be as high as 180 or as high as 240. It is what we call an autistic stock. And Awesome10X does love autism. We like autistic names. They are outliers. They're not supposed to behave like the market. PSNPD is blockchain though. This would move similar to how BTCs would react. However, you would be surprised, BTC was up last night, TSNPD was not even up. It even fell down. People took profits after the Hubble Pay announcement, the change in ticker names. So sometimes it doesn't really move like where the correlation should be correlated with. And what we can clearly see here with TSNPD is lower high, 740, 650. Maybe tonight, lower high, 550. That's also possible, right? You can go down on a lower high, or you could just retest that previous high, which makes it a double top or a triple top, right? That's the only difference of a lower high and a double top. A lower high means that it's a lower high. A double top means it's at the same price. If it was 650 then, it's 650 again. I've been seeing the markets are in a lower high. Lower high for your Magnite, still waiting for it at $23. If you haven't sold, look, at $44, I'm pretty sure that some people even sold last December as early as $30. You're selling it 30% higher at $44. that still got leeway to fall. I think what you should clearly ask yourself is, did you buy an extension? And if it is an extension, it has leeway to fall. This is an extension. Take a look at some super winners like Copen. This is, of course, an extension. This was where December was. It was just trading at $3 to $2. Yes, very good earnings from Copen, but does it mean that Copen is not going to go down to $5 anymore? It could go down to 5, right? Could go to 5, could go to 7, right? So these are all what you call extensions. Extensions are likely to also get slaughtered. These are the best names out there in the market for a secular trend, but it also is the largest potential to also go down. Does that mean that Cathy Wood is going to have a problem with her genomic fund? It was one of her best funds last year, from about $30 here, about $24, rally to as high as 120, 113. So far, it has already dropped 21% after a blistering move of about, let's estimate this move, after a 376% rally from the lows. So let's assume that the market will do a Fibonacci here and the market believes long-term on the ARKG fund. Here's what's likely to happen. What's likely to happen is that the people will actually buy this down here at $80 if it has to fall down. Some people will actually buy there. Some people might actually be buying right now at the 20% drop. That is an uptrend line. This is the first support. You also have another support here at about 80. So when this can go down, it means that if this goes down, it means that your PAC bio will fall. Take note that ARKG, the biggest stock there is PAC bio. So PAC bio has already dropped from about 53 all the way down to about 31. So some people might buy at 31, but they are selling as well here at about 35. So you've got these resistances here. First resistance at 40, second resistance at 36. Although there's a buyer here at 30 or 28, it could also be a buyer here at 25 and a deeper pullback here at about 20. So long term, is PAC bio great? The answer is yes, but anything can happen in the short term. So because these are very steep rallies, very steep moves, this went from $3 all the way to 53. Chances are momentum traders would actually sell these down, either getting margin called or stopped out. A 47% drop, they could be stopped out of their longs. It could even go down here about 54%. And if we're really lucky, it even falls down here to about 60% downside. That means that, of course, your Teladoc started to fall as well. These are your ARKG funds. Your ARKG 300 falling down to 200. Looks like it can even fall to 180. And 180 was your September-July area. So in my view, I think the July-September levels are normally already your supports. So that would be your supports. If it's not that extended, it's not going to have a huge dip. So it's more about how extended is the name. A lot of the cannabis are extended, so that has leeway to fall. So Grow Generation, I'm waiting for it to fall here at $40 or $30. Made a sell call 60 and 50, still selling there. And I think that you've got a buy call somewhere about 40 or 30. So these are just scenario planning. Let's take a look at some more questions for you. If I am a newbie and I'm already maxed out with my margin as well, is it okay to wait, hold, or do I need to sell a weak name at a loss in order to make room for the downside? I think that if you do not have cash, you would have to sell on spikes because margin at this point in time is going to be very wrong. You're going to get hurt 30% on the way down. If you're down, say 10% or 20%, you're going to bleed 50% if you don't, because your margin. And I don't think margin is a good place to be in a market scenario like this. Is it good to buy ADMP and SHIP or wait for more drop? I didn't study both of them, so I have no idea about them. But let me take a look at your charts. I think SHIP is an energy name. right? Sea Time, Sea Energy Marine Time. Yeah, so I'm not quite familiar with this name. Could rally, but I have no idea. Like I didn't study it. ADMP, also I have no idea. I think this is like a biotech, right? I think I heard about this. Yeah, so looks like some people were buying at $1, $1.50, thinking that of course this was an uptrend. So this was the first scenario, right? An uptrend. But the 150 is now a resistance. So what's going to happen here is that any spikes back to about 125 or 130 is going to be sold. So I think that for those who are caught on a downturn, let's say you're 20% down today, you should best minimize your downside. If you could lose 10%, you should. With rising US bond yields, is it safe to go into financials? Kindly also check Fastly. No, I don't think so. Usually what I do is with rising bond yields, I'd rather just stay in cash and then get back into high growth names. The innovation funds are the names that I'll still get if I can just get it at a 30 to 50% drop or even just a 20% drop. Meaning, example, with the market looking to perhaps go down, I'd still believe in Chinese electric vehicles. I'd rather buy a NIO or an XPeng. I'd rather buy a Unity and a Palantir. I'd rather get Tesla on a downturn. I don't like financials. I don't like JP Morgan's, if that's a question. Check Fastly. I like Fastly long term. And I think that the drop to about 70 all the way to $50 is an opportunity. So I made a buy call before at $60. And I do think that although the market can fall, as you know, the market is not all the same. Everyone here who was very new in the US market should understand that US is very vibrant. Just because the Nasdaq is falling doesn't mean Fastly is going to fall. Just because the Nasdaq is falling doesn't mean all your stocks would fall. So you have to understand that if you have a stock that is still in the green, there will be people who would actually sell that spike, just like what happened to some drones or some SPACs, because they would use that spike to get more cash. Because they think that if the index hasn't bottomed yet, I might have a higher opportunity to say buy and make 100% on a Tesla rather than be in cash. So at some point in time, I do think that people would actually want to buy and nibble into Bitcoin if it actually fell down to $30,000. But the question mark now is, will it actually fall? Will it fall? So some people are not really willing to sell because they've been holding that name for quite a while, perhaps below $10K. So I don't think that they are selling. I think that the market is doing a trim. Trimming is different from selling. Trimming is they're selling half. Selling is when they really think that they're going to lose their money, and that's when they will sell. We are not in the selling zone yet. But if you're already margin to the hilt and we're not even in the selling zone yet, what happens to your portfolio if we actually went selling mode? You understand my point? So Fastly, you have to understand, I don't think it's going to go $10. Of course not. I don't even think it's going to go $30. So at current level, about $68, your downside is perhaps 60 or 50. That's perhaps the maximum. And then it goes to as high as 100 to 200. It even goes to $100, I think, in the short term. So not short term as in 1 week, all right? I think short term meaning give it about a year or 6 months. If the index actually finds a bottom, yes, you'll actually see your high growth names, your infrastructure plays like a digital infrastructure player like Fastly to be actually a winner. I am of the belief that this edge network is going to be a winner. Thoughts on TMS, Taiwan Semiconductor? Sorry, I only know TSM. What's TMS? TMS, what's this? Transimex, sorry, I don't have an idea what this is. So, but likely with this win of about, I don't know what it is. You are perhaps better off knowing. So these are what you call non-index names that could go higher that is not related to the index. Example, I'm going to tell you a few things. Perry was very strong. So you could see that the market was already faltering. This went all-time highs. Eventually got to calm down. So, and that is an extension, right? So this one is an extension from about 14, rally to as high as 22. These extension moves can go down back to about 14. So sometimes the drop is just back to December, just here, not even at $10. So, hi Nikki, just out of the question, do you have any paid subscription with any global scanners? Nope, I don't have. I actually chart a lot. What you didn't see here is that I did a lot of charting action in about 100 plus names. Sample, sample, sample. This is what I do on every single day. So I don't do a scanner. I just chart it myself, like manually. Yes. I have a playbook like this. Let me show to you what Awesome10X members get. The pigs who are getting slaughtered. Okay, let's listen to the pigs who are getting slaughtered. Feb 24, playbook charts. I talked about the Wall Street lingo, the diamond hands, when I thought I bought the dip, but it keeps dipping. Then I said use 20% to 50% crashes as opportunities to enter the best names. The fact that I'm looking for a crash means that I do think that you could buy it low, right? At least a 50% drop will give an opportunistic entry for a 50 or a 500% move reward. So, example, like some crypto miners, if HUT fell, then I'll be there watching on that arrows. If Bitfarms fell, those are the arrows, right? So, what if Bitcoin fell to 40,000? Those are the arrows to buy. If BNB, although some people would buy 200, I think that after it rallied to 278, it's going to go down maybe about $200 again. So Argo felt that it was already expensive, going to wait it out to about 105 or 145. So Shunlei, XNet rallied, then I think it's going to go back down. So it's nothing beats like charting rather than, yeah, you chart everything. Da, 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 da. Chart all. La, 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 la. That's all. I chart all. If you're asking me how I know the market, I just chart all. Wow. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. I do chart almost every name that I study. Yeah. So that's how I know if the market is hitting lower highs. Around 200 to 300 charts. It's not like 2 to 3 names. So when I said that cannabis pigs will get slaughtered, that was me charting cannabis names. So yeah, I knew that SSTK was going to fall. They're going to slaughter house everyone. See that sell mode here. That arrow was sold since February, but actually even January 28, I remember selling before that. Even before it actually spiked to 29. Sometimes I'm early selling, but it is what it is. Hexo would fall probably to $5. It's still at 7, waiting for it to go down to $5. I'm waiting for cannabis to really drop. So OGI, I'm waiting for this $6 to go down to $2. So at 3, I'm waiting for it to go to 2. So in general, I do believe that the market is leeway to fall, but at the same time, I'm not that scared. Example, I'll tell you what. So Nano Dimensions, I got in at 2. Erroneously, I sold at about 4 to 6. Okay, so that was my mistake. I sold here. So right now, I'm trying to buy here about 10, 11 with a leeway to buy at 8. And if the market's going to crumble, I'm okay to buy 6 to 4. So you might wonder, am I willing to take a drawdown? Yeah, I am. I'm willing to take a drawdown. If it rallies, of course, to $12 or $15, I'm also willing to sell there. So I'm willing to take the move up and also to take the move down. Example, I'll tell you what, CCIV, aka Lucid Motors. I'm willing to buy at 28. It fell to about 24. Is it going to go to 20? The answer would be also yes. Actually, I'm willing to buy 18 or even 12 all the way to 28. So 12 to 28 would be giving me an average of $20. So whether I'm right or wrong, it's really about your conviction with Mr. Peter Rawlinson. So how much of a drawdown can Awesome10X people actually handle? I can handle a 50% drawdown from the stock because I'm averaging it. So example, if I start buying it at $20, I'll be willing to buy it as low as about 15 and then as low as 10. But usually, I don't think you can really buy it as at a 50% drawdown. A 50% drawdown would mean that we're going to go back to March 2020, which I really don't think so. So example, for Sun Power, let me give you an understanding. Assuming you started buying here at about 31, it rallied to 36, 37, 38, you didn't sell, and it's now back to 31, 32. And you're thinking, no, this is a long-term buy. And I agree with you. I think it really is a long-term buy. That's why there are more arrows than selling. These arrows do believe that in one year from now, you could sell your Sun Power at 46 and even at $60. So what if it falls to 27 or 20? What will you do? If you got in at 31, I'll suffer that drop. Assuming that I bought at 36, if it falls to 20, I wouldn't be scared. That's almost a 50% drop, right? I would hold. In fact, when I really see the bottom, that's when I'll buy. I did that before with Roku. I bought Roku at $100. It fell down to 58 during the pandemic. I bought again at 65, 85. Bought more at 105, 110. And then when actually this 176, I didn't buy anymore, but it was a breakout. Yeah, so meaning I buy in tranches even if it takes me a drawdown. That's what I do. And I've been a buyer of Roku since here. Yeah, since 45 to 80. So I really like this company. Sorry, stop that. I really like this company. Really like this company. I just didn't buy at 176 or 300. I felt it's a bit extended, honestly. So I'm just waiting for it to drop at $300 again. C Limited, I find it extended, but you could notice that 220 all the way to 186. I'm more of a buyer bias. I sold actually at 280. I did sell at 280, seeing that the market looks to also crumble. Look, it fell, it rose about 270. I actually sold as early as 260, 250 pa nga. I sold 250. Yeah, and then I'm gonna buy it back, say 220 or 190. I don't know if I can buy it back. So I'd also take a risk. If you think that selling does not have a risk, of course you do. If you sold your BTCs at about 40,000, right now you're already aching because BTC today is still 50,000. That's why I know that BTC will have a lot of buyer at 40,000. They thought that 40,000 here was already high. And so they felt good selling at 40K, honestly. And then only to see BTC trading at 60K. So I do think, guys, that especially for like Tesla, I know that Tesla buyer has a lot. There are a lot of people who are kicking themselves in the butt because they sold their Teslas here about 450. These are your buyers, guys. I actually feel that the people who are looking to buy here are doomsday people who don't even have a Tesla at all. Because if you do have a Tesla, you know that how hard it was to buy here. And you know how hard it was to buy here. There was more momentum on the upside rather than the downside. So I think like right now, even at 500 to 600, there's more buyers there. Even for like NEO and XPeng, I think only a true trader who really has NEO here about $15 to $20 know how hard it was to get there. NEO was rising so quickly, super fast, that a drop to about 38 would actually tempt more people to buy. Even XPeng. Hello, XPeng. I was like crazily buying before. I was buying here at about 18 to 20. I added at 31. For you to give me XPeng at 31 when I was having such a hard time to buy XPeng before, I'll be happy. I'll be happy to buy at 31, even if it falls down to 21. Actually, right now, XPeng at $30 seems to me to be oversold by the market. And I think that right now, even when the market goes down, XPeng could actually surprise on the upside next week because of their earnings. 500% increase on electric vehicles for XPeng. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think that most people actually get a screener. They actually ask me, Nikki, do you have a screener? I don't really have a screener. I am such a manual type of person. However, I do have like I have some watch lists. Example for like companies I look at. Example, I'm taking a look at Gilat and GSAT. So it's still falling down, but I also take a look at their performances. The fact that they're still up a lot, Global Star and GSAT is like up 300% and 100%. It is quite intuitive why they are falling in the first place. They're falling because somebody has $1 GSAT, and right now at $2, he's thinking, well, maybe I can sell first at $2 and then I'll just see where my money goes. So there, it's such a long day today. I'm sorry, 50 minutes already, but I just want people to know that there will be people who will scare the shit out of you guys to sell your winners. And if you don't know that you own a winner, you'd probably sell any price, honestly. Like, you'd think that, oh, XPeng is probably a wrong pick. So at $30, I'm going to sell it. Not knowing that one day it's going to be in $100. And that's really what happened to the people who sold their Tesla before. I know some people who sold their Tesla, they're kicking themselves in the butt for selling it below $1,000 way before the stock split. So, their only realization for themselves is if you have a winner and you really like that winner, no matter if you're up 300%, sometimes you got to take the heat. And if it fell, actually, I'd assume that they would be a buyer because the people who know what they own aren't really, they're really diamond hands, honestly speaking. Kathy would not reach 350% or something in her fund on the genomics or even her Teslas and Squares and her Rocos without, in some ways, being a diamond hand and fighting all the naysayers who sell these companies and pull it downwards 40, 50%. And she wouldn't also hold it as long as she did if she never believed in the story in the first place, if she thought that it was just a 100% move. So think about the real 10X names that you believe in and ask yourself, really, do you really believe in sustainable energy or were you just being hyped up about it? Do you really believe in electric vehicles or were you just being hyped up about it? I ask you because right now is one of the best time to really reinforce that if XPeng is going to fall to $20 or $25 just because the market is so scared shitless about them, it should be a buying opportunity. Like you should be buying the companies you truly love. And that's what I've been doing, even if I'm going to go down 20% with it, or even if I'm going to go down 40% with it. I don't mind to go 20% down if the opportunity to make 100 to 200% is there in the first place, which I believe some Chinese vehicles actually have. So XPeng Neo, I think, is one of those top conviction plays. Unity, Palantir is one of my top conviction plays. And if CCIV, Lucid Motors, falls, it's going to be a good play for me. AACQ, AHAC, is going down to about $10 something. I'm okay to buy that. Some battery plays is also something that I have high conviction of, even if it can fall. I don't know if it will fall, but assuming that the markets do fall again and again and again, I am willing to buy them. So the cannabis, in my view, I just need about another 20% downside. So example, if you really like Tilray, I do like it if I'm going to be able to get it at $15. If I'm going to be able to get Organigram at $2, I will buy that. So I'm just really waiting. Example, GME, I bought it at $50. I sold it $100, $120. But if GME fell to about $40 and $50 again, I'm pretty sure I'll buy, guys. I will. What are you holding, baby? Don't hold heavy bags. I am holding a lot of electric vehicles. I'm heavy there, but I'm also heavy in cash. I mean, I'm not margin, so I can take the heat. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Still up 200%.